Alrighty, folks, give me just a minute here. We should be good to go in just a short second. Alrighty. You know what? I think we are going to go ahead and take off the counter, because as I kind of expressed last time, we don't really need the counter anymore. I mean, I might leave on the PR, I think, at this point, just because it... I mean, like, I do still feel like the PR is impressive, but... yeah, at least the PR is impressive, but yeah, I don't really see a reason to leave on a counter when we're officially doing only but, at this point, anything but, so. Hey, Mario. And, no, I am not playing Crimson Desert. I'm probably not gonna buy it, personally speaking. I'm just, I don't know, it seems fine and everything. I'm just not currently feeling myself wanting to vibe with it. It's not my game. Likewise, I've actually been on like a super hard RPG kick here recently. Funny enough, I've been on a different RPG kick. I've been playing through the Kingdom Hearts series, enjoying the ever-living shit out of that. I've been playing a lot of Kingdom Hearts 1, and I don't know why I want to do this, but I want to 100% Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, so I've been working on that. I've been enjoying it though. I've been having a lot of fun with it. So here we go. Just a second here. Damn, we might get fucking absolutely fucking stormed upon again here. Definitely a pretty intensely rainy kind of day right now for me, but it's looking like we're actually gonna get some more rain, so we'll see. It's nothing really honestly too bad by the long short of it. Ideally we'll get at least a decent enough stream out in the meantime while we're running here. But either way, unfortunately, last night, as all things apparently come to fucking stand, the last night's run... Actually, wait, did I murder last night's character? I'm pretty sure I did, right? Pretty sure I did. I usually do end up murdering it right afterwards. Okay, good. They're dead. Beautiful. Don't really know why my luck was so fucking ass, grand scheme of things, but it was very much so ass. I got once again nuked on the bridge. To be fair, I wouldn't say I have been apprehensive, but getting shot by the golem last time made me apprehensive this time. So instead of getting shot by the golem, I got slapped in the ass cheeks instead, which was entertaining, I guess, but also at the same time, an hour and a half down the fucking drain. Do I enjoy that? Nah, but, you know. I wish I could do Golem Bridge a lot sooner into the run, because it would make things a lot fucking easier for me personally. I could just immediately do it right this minute and be like, hey, nice, awesome, Golem Bridge, done. And I almost wish I could do it after doing Margit, because at least then I could get across the bridge and make that happen right there, instead of fighting Godric first. But the problem is that there's no reason to going across the bridge, because you can't fucking open the tower, and because for some reason they set the grace at the top of the tower and not the bottom of the fucking tower, which is an interesting choice, mind you. It just essentially means get fucked, get bent, and like in a normal playthrough context, this doesn't matter at all. So my complaint is completely, like, it is such a fucking only my kind of problem right now, but it is still, in my vein, it is a very obnoxious problem. I still personally will not understand, and do not understand why they bothered putting graces at the top of the towers. In a general context, it makes no sense to do that anyways, because you only go up there to activate the Great Rune. And like in a context of assuming essentially like, hey, you do that so that way in case the player shows up there early and accidentally shows up there before the Great Rune's available to activate, well then yeah, okay, makes sense, right? Or at least like Margit Morgott's Great Rune spot. That makes sense. Perfect sense. As far as it stands, I don't think any of the other ones make any fucking sense. Because they only all open when you have the Great Rune to correspond to it. So it's pointless. Anyways, rant aside, we're done. No more rant time. Who do I want to give it to today? You know what? It's been a minute since we've given it to the Grundler. Let's do some Grundling today. Yeah, it's you know what? It's Grundling time. Ah, fuck me. Okay, too long. Okay. I have an idea. It's Grundle Clock. Ah, fuck me. Okay, too long. Damn it, should have guessed. What's a good one? You know what, honestly, nothing wrong with just fucking Grundling. Grundle in it. Yep, that seems good enough. And by it, well, let's just say, I mean my Grundle. Of course, obviously. Anyways, let's break the old man back out of the shed. He's probably well rested enough, I would say. And so let's get something. You know, let's get some sauce. Let's get some sauce. Let's get it moving. Let's have a good time of it. Let's have some fun. I'm, of course, excited as always. This is my absolute favorite pastime ever. Of course, obviously. You can tell by how much I fucking play it. Alright. Oh, I was about to immediately go right off the bridge. Listening to the, unironically, it's kind of turned into a little bit of a lo-fi with rain sound effect kind of scenario right now, except apparently it's sounds of Elden Ring with rain in background, lo-fi beats. Yeah, apparently that's the vibe we're working off of right now, except there's no lo-fi beats for anybody, it's just fucking rain. I think I've brought this up before. I think I've definitely brought it up at least once, but I think Elden Ring soundtrack is really, really good. For everything in terms of like cinema, it's cinematic, it's very aesthetic, it very much so goes amazingly with the moments of the game. But I don't really think any of it is personally all that good to listen to outside of the context of Elden Ring, admittedly. And I don't know, that might just be a little bit of a mean opinion. And maybe it's just my opinion for all it's worth. It probably is, realistically. But I just personally don't find myself wanting to listen to the soundtrack outside of the game. Maybe like... Actually, no, I was about to say something, but like, realistically, no. There's actually like zero context, zero moments where I look at this game and I'm like, yeah, I want to listen to that song right now. No, honestly, no. Like, there's probably some covers for sure out there that I would listen to. But other than the covers, I really don't see any moments where I'd be listening to Elden Ring soundtrack outside of the game itself. Which, for me, is saying a decent amount. Like, I know most people, normally speaking, don't listen to video game music outside of the video games they are meant for, more or less, but in my case, I do it a lot. I listen to a lot of video game music outside of the actual games. I generally enjoy it, like an absolute shit ton. So it's not really that deep by a long shot, but it is weirdly enough, it is definitely something I acknowledge. That is very unique, more or less, to me. 64 secrets. Beautiful. I just realized that reference means absolutely nothing without any context to it. 64 secrets, I guess in this case, is actually the clothing brand that my good friend Spy on 64 has. And I mean, if at any point or another you like some decent clothing designs, the man has definitely been dedicating an absolute shit ton of time, for all it's worth, to essentially making more in clothing brand and design work and all that. And he makes some nice stuff. So if you like game stuff and you like having some not distinctly game-based stuff to wear, then I would say, honestly, it's definitely worth checking this stuff out. He has some stuff there that's definitely, like, video gamey, but it's not outright anything that's, like, specifically game. So you don't have to worry about it being too much of a nerd reference, but also at the same time, yeah, you know what? It is totally a nerd reference for you. So. Anywho's. Let's see, just a second here, folks. Oh, beautiful. Weird how I'm fucking up on my map. Oh, that's funny. Now it's raining in-game. Of course it would be. That only seems too fitting for all it's worth. Alright, Kukri equipped. Beautiful. I don't know if I need to charge up the arrow there, but I'm willing to assume that it's probably generally worth it to just charge up the arrow just because. So, arguably better to just assume you need more damage and do too much damage than to not do enough damage and then you end up in an awkward situation. That's generally the rule of thumb, though, with most of this, is that always do more damage, generally don't do less damage. Except for bosses, funny enough. Bosses, you generally want to do certain values worth of damages, so that way you can do what's known as scripting, which pretty much just boils down to, hey, this boss, I'm going to beat it with X, Y, and Z attacks, and it'll happen exactly as is, and then come second phase, it's pretty much, if you've watched me go up against Horaloo Godfrey for the most part, that is exactly scripting. Like, how that fight goes is exactly how the script is intended to go. Give or take, like, some minor little details that could be slightly better, but the point is that fact that I get the stagger on second phase in the way that I do is very, very important. Likewise, the same way that, at least on Radon right now, we kind of have it set to have him have less than or almost a quarter of his health bar by the time we end up beating him and him getting into second phase. Now, is it technically possible to completely nuke him before he ever reaches second phase? Probably. But also at the same time, we'd be coming back to him after getting ourselves leveled up even a little further. And realistically, I just kind of want the fight to be done sooner than later because, well, we already dedicate about 3 hours to a full run right now, give or take. So, yeah, I would, in most cases, prefer that that run ends sooner than later. So, we do it with what we got, and if it works, then it works. So... I know that there's technically a second way of doing this here where we don't ever have to interact with that little area right there. Like, we just go take the Spirit Spring across. But I do end up getting some Smithy Stones out of that interaction, and likewise, I also get the Stone Sword Key. We don't, I think, need that Stone Sword Key, but there's just enough there that it makes sense for us to take that route, and it's safe enough. Safe enough. That it's generally worth it for me to do it, regardless, so. Anyways, get this Grace, we're gonna leave this place. Bars. You know, it's funny. I was gonna say I didn't really need to pick up that that row of fruit right there, but the fact that we got the 3-piece from it, you know what? I'm gonna say that was a good pull. That was a good pull. That was unintentionally worth it. I accidentally put myself in front of the dismounter, and that is a little scary. And by like a little scary, I mean like there's like a less than chance that he suddenly does exactly the right move and hops towards me and dismounts me. I.e. fucking smacking my legs one singular time. Alright. Go through here, collect the money that we always collect. We don't get a lot of money out of here, obviously. Like, this graveyard, frankly, is way more dangerous than it really is worth. But it's a small amount of money, and we get just enough time there to collect a small pile of it. So, I wouldn't say it boils down to just barely enough of worth our time. But also at the same time, you could make an argument for it, so... There we go. Fort height time. I was worried that arrow was gonna slightly veer too much to the left. I'm glad it didn't, grand scheme of things, but I could see the vision. I could see the reality where that happened. Beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a spot here for me to... Well, hang on, let's... no. And I don't suppose... Well, I mean, we could test it. My worst case scenario here is that the arrow still hits the stairs. It still hit the stairs, okay. Alright. Alright, his big ass is... At this point, I'm going to say it's not really worth it to try and do what I'm doing here. Yeah, admittedly, that was a waste of arrows at that point. That was definitely... that was definitely not working out in the way that I wanted it to. So, fair enough. Alright, beautiful. Unfortunately, it seems like with the setup that I have going there, I just kind of have to eat it for what it is. Beautiful. I wonder what happens if I shoot this rat first, actually. It might technically aggro the one dude to come slightly further to the right. Alright, well, I mean, if he's not aggroed here... Admittedly, choosing to shoot 2 arrows there was kind of dumb. But also, I mean, the point is don't get hit. So, did it work? Yes. Yes, it did. Alright. I think it's the 3.5. Yes, 3.5. Goody. Alright. Run like a motherfucker. Grab. Run back. Crouch. Thing is whenever we're walking back there or running back there, the one dude is technically still in a little bit like a a false aggro state to where he's aggroed to where the sound came from. He's suspicious of it. So technically speaking, us walking in front of him like that right there, until he has a full reset on his aggro state, he doesn't technically have the ability to change fully. Not unless he sees something significant enough. Whereas normally he might get suspicious of us walking past in that little area. The way that it happens there essentially makes it so the AI is more focused on resetting than it is on actually catching us. So, interesting little tidbits on how that works. Hey, not a bad row of fruit pull. Okay. I probably still concern myself too much with picking up row of fruit in all consideration. I mean, like, I don't go out of my way for it, but also at the same time, I mean, that patch back there is definitely not required, and I do it every time. There we go. Oh. That was so stupid, and I am so lucky that that did not go worse. that was just bad inputs. We don't really need that extra lily that was there at that point. Yeah, we don't actually need that at all. Alright. Anyways. Back to our favorite patch. We're gonna do it again, obviously, because the addiction to picking up row of fruit is essentially just gambling at this point. It's like, oh, what are we gonna get? Are we gonna get 1, 2, 3, 5? I know you can actually get 5 off of one of these. I mean, yeah, I know we just literally got 5, but like you can get 5 off a single bush, which is admittedly so fucking stupidly pointless, grand scheme of things, but like it's also just kind of fun. Like I said, it is essentially just gambling for pennies, is really what it comes down to, but fuck it. I thought I saw a skull. Speaking of gambling for literal pennies at that point, I mean, talk about actually legitimately not cash at all worth your time. Every single time you run into one of the skulls, it's just not exactly worth it. It is legitimately pocket change, but also at the same time, I'm grateful for the fact that there's pocket change in the game. Anyways, Kenneth, baby. There we go. Wait for that money. Alright, beautiful. Okay. Alrighty. Almost done with the first part of Limgrave, which is nice. I guess that's like kind of the nice thing about where we are at this point, at least, is we are essentially at a good point to say, hey, we get through a lot of this early stuff pretty quickly and pretty well without like any troubles at this point. Limgrave 1 is easy enough. Caelid 1 is easy enough. Our trip to Liurnia has like minimal troubles, realistically, and then Altus 1 is also pretty straightforward. I mean, in all seriousness, everything, for the most part, in terms of early game, is actually, like, we've got it pretty well under wraps now at this point, and it's not too intensely time-consuming, which is good. So, it is something. Oh, whoops, I forgot to adjust my flask. Flask, there we go. Alright. I still, maybe at some point here, need to look into and practice getting a cheese boss kill. Because I know in this case, in terms of Caelid, you can get probably, give or take, 2 or 3 bosses with a cheese kill. And when you're talking why you would do that, I mean, that's just early game economy right there. Just absolutely bolstering the shit out of it. Alright, looks like we're having... I don't exactly like where we're at here, but we're gonna live. That's good. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I mean, early game economy-wise, it is very, very stringent right now. It is always very stringent. Like, every little extra bit of money that I pick up here, you figure it would add to a bit of a surplus. And in all seriousness, it kind of just doesn't. Could we maybe technically avoid, like, a couple extra levels here and there? Maybe, yeah. But also at the same time, it would just be an absurd boon to have, pretty much in this case, just an absolute big, massive pile of money from, like, a large boss. Especially considering Limgrave has... Caelid has, like, give or take, like, some very sizable payouts when it comes to their bosses. So, would it be nice? Yes. Yeah, it would be so nice. So I think it is something maybe I do need to at least explore as an option, so that way I'm not having to concern myself so much with every single pickup, and also the literal pocket change on the floor that I get from all the plant life and whatnot. Is it useful? Kind of. But it also definitely is more work on my part, grand scheme of things. Alrighty. I think the only way we see the counter come back out, and I think I expressed it the other night, is if we were to essentially make it all the way to the end of the game. And obviously at that point we've already pretty much sunk the time into the run. We were to only get hit once at that point, then yeah, I think I probably would bring out the counter to at least count that one hit. We're not at technically perfect PR yet, but we are essentially there. Like, it's pretty much we either get the run, we get tickled one single time on, like, the last boss or some shit, and that's really it. Otherwise, there's no gray area in between at this point. Yeah, sure, we can still get practice and whatnot. So, I mean, if I made it all the way to... let's just say I made it back to Malekith, and we got fucking tickled on him, I probably would just run it out and complete the run. Just because we're there, there's less than 20 minutes left of the run at that point, and it just makes reasonable sense to at least do that for the sake of doing it. So, yeah, we probably would do it in that circumstance, but... I am hating this dog RNG. What the fuck is this dog RNG right now, man? Okay, this is better. I'm still nervous, because, like, these motherfuckers feel like they're just kind of aggroing whenever they want to here recently. Alright, they didn't aggro, which is good. Alright, I did not do amazing with my arrow count, so I am going to go ahead and spend a little bit of extra money here on that. It really doesn't matter too deeply, but it just kind of helps, grand scheme of things. Anyways. Fort Faroth time. Do that. We do need to put back on our armor. Oh, interesting. We got the... Okay. I mean, it doesn't really matter that we got that hat, but still, interesting enough. Alright, walk over this way, aim at this pole, toss one kukri. Slip right on through. See, I have a hard time trusting on what will and won't work there. And it's such a minor thing sometimes. We haven't really gotten punished for it, grand scheme of things, which is good. But there is just enough room for error there that I do get a little bit nervous about it, just because it's kind of like, there's small things there that could go wrong. And one of the easiest things that could go wrong, that luckily I've adjusted for since, is the fact that I do end up throwing back on some armor there to essentially give me more poison resist. That poison resist is just enough to prevent a potential full poison proc, and that does matter. Alright. Race out. We're done. 17 runes. GG's. Okay, cool. Alright, there we go. Got that. Cool. Alright, now we can go book it towards the second half of our early Caelid and get early Caelid knocked out. I think my one mistake that I made here the last two runs is I don't know exactly why this happened, but it did happen this way. The first time it was just kind of a mistake, but I accidentally rode wrong when it came to dealing with the... Didn't like that. That was a weird fall. That was also a weird fall for all it's worth. But the first time, I think it just kind of came down to I mistimed my jump and I got shot. And the golem got me for it, which is funny because, honestly, as far as it stands, I really haven't gotten shot by that golem for a good long while. Like, I usually get through that area without ever getting shot by that golem because I normally end up jumping it exactly at the right time. But apparently I got shot by it, and then the second time here, because of how my mindset has been during these runs, I got apprehensive to what I was supposed to do there, and I got cautionary about it, and funny enough, that was the exact opposite of what I was supposed to do. And so really I just need to remind myself, fuck it, we send it, we ball, and that's really all it comes down to. I just have to do that. As long as I do that in that area, and keep in mind, obviously, yeah, the stealth strats do matter for all it's worth. They do matter. They do definitely matter. But likewise, it's also just heavily important for me to play that out. Play that out just a little bit more aggressively, and I think that'll be enough. We don't have to overthink it. We just have to play better. So. It's funny, I can always hear that guy back there with his swords drawing, as if he's about to be that guy to come and chase my ass down. Not that I don't respect him, I find him a very terrifying enemy, all things considered, considering the, I don't know what they were baking into their medium level, like, knights, but funny enough, in a large way, I think they're generally more concerning when it comes to getting hit by them, than even, like, the Crucible Knights, for all it's worth. Crucible Knights are scary in their own right, but it's more so the fact that they're stupidly tanky, and they generally seem like just indomitable spirits of just sheer will and fuck you. But other than that, they don't really do a lot that's like scary in terms of combos. They have some roll catching potential, and there's definitely like some attacks that they do that otherwise would fuck up anybody who's new to it. But save for that, their movesets are really, really stupidly easy. There's like one or two attacks on both versions of the Crucible Knights that can be scary, but it's more so just the idea of them coming out so fast. More than anything else, honestly. Alright, let's see who dies here. Get some extra money. I'm gonna probably stop at like... actually, probably... we'll see what the next death carries for us here. There we go. Look at all that extra money that we didn't have to have, but now we do. Ain't that nice? And for all it's worth, it does save us like a little bit of extra effort. Don't have to think as much about where I'm getting certain like amounts of money now. I just simply have the money. So, it does pay off. It's funny to think that, the lump of flesh there is pretty much just them essentially saying, like, the guy that's on the ground there got crushed by the giant. But it doesn't really work out because that is also on a dude. Like, in theory, it would be a really good bit of storytelling, saying, like, this giant literally just keeps jumping down and stepping on people with his big ol' grippers. But, unfortunately, it doesn't exactly float that way when there's still a body there. If anything, it just tells me that the guy had some meatballs before he went out and died. And apparently we stole his meatballs, so... I guess it's not stealing from the dead, realistically, but... Also, at the same time, I don't know if I want to be eating meatballs off a dead guy. You never know what killed him. Could have been the meatballs. I feel like I've been getting, like, shitty RNG on this giant here lately. Like, very rarely does he not show up walking towards the knot here. Or walking towards the tier. And it's not horrible, but it's just enough of a deterrent, because if he shouts one singular time and hits me with the super duper breath, then unfortunately, GG's, that is the run, immediately consumed. So, yes, it does unfortunately matter ever so slightly. Alright, run on up. Big meaty hit. Slash. Boom. Stab the man. Just stab the man. Okay, that was a little bit of a weird little lag spike there. Well, thank you, Elden Ring. Okay, cool. Grace acquired, awesome. Funny enough, oh, Jesus, that's a man. I thought it was a skull for a second there, and I could not have been more wrong. I mean, I guess technically there is a skull attached to that body, but that's not the same thing. Okay, that sheep's a little close to me. Please fuck off. Thank you, sheep. The fuck? Why did I just hear a giant... There's no giants here. I was a little curious on why there was a giant making sounds that close to me at that point. I do not care for what potentially might have almost happened to me there. That would have been unfortunate. Alright.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Alright, so pretty much the game plan tonight is the exact same as it was the night before. We are... That's somehow even worse Pumpkinhead RNG there. Yeah, but the plan is to pretty much just book it and get ourselves back to where we were last night. Ideally get through both of our Remembrance bosses, and leave it at that for the night. That's hopefully the game plan. And ideally, we're not really, like, too far off from making that all happen. We're just not. We're actually... It will not take that much effort to make all that happen. So that's the good news. And luckily at this point, I think I got a lot of this set up down to more or less like a pretty firm science, realistically. To where I think I can say reasonably that I kind of have a lot of this down without having to think about it too much. Like, I pretty much have the route more or less memorized now in my head, which is kind of cool. Alright. Good that Dragonfly did not chase, otherwise it would be unfortunate for me, of course. Well, funny enough, now I'm thinking about it, I think last time we did this, which is last night, I don't think I actually remember coming out of the tunnel where we end up picking up the green turtle. I don't think I actually bothered to go down and get the graveyard. I think I actually forgot to do that. Might have been why we're, like, a little short on some money. I don't really think that contributes nearly enough of a problem. Just because, in all seriousness, the graveyard we're getting it from, it's not a lot of money, but it is still money that we'd be missing. So. Yeah, I have not been able to get these in a fucking while. Oh my god, okay, alright. See, admittedly, that's just me being outright out of practice. So, real talk, yeah, that's on me. But I also haven't been doing those, so yeah, fair enough. I don't want to fall to my death, so... There we go. Oh, yeah, actually, never mind. There's at least 1-5 here. I'm not going to say that's enough to make this graveyard worth my time, but likewise, I mean, that's a 5 that I'm getting for essentially free, because nothing's guarding this graveyard. So, it is basically a free graveyard. Alright, off to Liurnia. And luckily, I think, yes, we do. We have enough cash to buy the 3 Smithy 2s off the merchant on our way into Liurnia. Oh, another skull. Okay, we'll take it. Free money. Yo, what's good, Night Slash? How you doing tonight, buddy? Or, I guess technically today. Not exactly nighttime right now, but still. Alright, I'm gonna need the torch here in a minute. As far as it stands, we have everything that we need exactly where we need it to be. Hope I'm doing good too. Nice. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well too, man. Yeah, no, honestly, I think I'm doing pretty good. It's been it has been somewhat of a hectic week for all it's worth, but you know what? It's almost the weekend. Luckily, it's an extended weekend for me, so that's awesome news. I'm pretty happy. I can't complain. These fucking squirrels, man. The number of times. We'll be lurking around. Okay, cool beans, no problem. Enjoy the lurk mode, dude. We're probably not going to be going, like, horribly long today, grand scheme of things. I mean, I know that's kind of been the theme here recently, but also, while we did start earlier, we're still going to probably keep it to about that hour and a half to 2 hour, roughly, stream time. Just because... oh, hiccups. I do have some plans here later tonight, so... I actually probably shouldn't be holding out the torch right now. At least when I'm running past that little area. It's probably really fucking dumb for me. I know I get this grace, but I don't really know if I need this grace anymore. Like, I really can't say there's a scenario where I need it.
Oh, don't.
Alright, buy out those. Beautiful. Don't need any more ones. Ooh. Alright, ride that fine little line right now between the lobster and all the lads. We do not want to aggro either side of it. Ideally. Okay, cool. Okay. But enough, I'm going to do something that I haven't done before here, but it may actually be to some amount of a benefit here. I'm actually going to jump down with the torch in hand, because the bear that normally's like right behind where we do the jump, it doesn't normally present an issue, but likewise, it's kind of one of those small things of just, I mean, placement. See, this is why we can't trust the jump, unfortunately, anymore, is because sometimes the fall damage is just like, fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyways, even though we clearly landed on that shit. Now, the good news is we did see fall damage, so that actually, it means that we, you know, we fell and we landed. But it still unfortunately matters. Like, it matters in terms of, like, letting us know that that's not a safe fall. It's just not. So... I'm still happier, though, to see that I took the fall damage there, as opposed to the alternative. It sucks so much losing a fucking run to some stupid shit like that. Alright, ideally that dragonfly does not aggro, but it might do it anyways, because it's an asshole. I'm glad that that skull didn't trigger the dragon, because honestly I'm a little surprised. Alright. Bow out, Kukri in. Red right on through. Up off right here. Two-hand. Wait for this guy to move forward ever so slightly. Toss the Kukri. Kukri activates the distraction. Alright, and we are out of there. This might have actually been one of the reasons why I wanted a couple extra arrows, now I'm thinking about it. I probably did want the couple extra arrows because of this here. I know I typically end up having like an arrow or two for the dragon. That we end up having to essentially aggro and having him disappear later on. We normally have enough arrows. I don't know why. I think I've just kind of been sloppy with my arrows here lately. And it's not horrible, but it's definitely not ideal. You know, I don't know who decided to make these things give runes, but I kind of really appreciate them, like, honestly. Because, like, I don't know, it's literally just free money. And it's not even bad money either. It's just good free money at that point. And I can appreciate the shit out of that. Okay. Actually, I'm going to keep the bow out for 2 seconds here, because, well, I don't know in this case, but I'd rather not test theories. Are you fucking... Alright, we have to fucking redo that little run right there, because unfortunately I missed that 3. Alright, well, I think what I'm going to do... We just have to do it regardless. Because honestly, that 3 is a portion of what we need. So, unfortunately, I do have to fucking redo it. I despise it when the grab, or the prompt just fails. It is really fucking annoying. Alright, beautiful. Got what we came here for. That's exactly ideal. Beautiful. I think I am going to check this time to see if we can actually sell gold seeds. Because other than upgrading my flask tier to like a +2 or +3, we don't really need more flasks than what we have. And that would essentially just be extra pocket change at that point. Now granted, if it doesn't amount to shit, like if it's actually like valueless in terms of overall money gain, then yeah, we're not going to worry about it. I'm going to probably have to train my brain to not do that every single time and not upgrade the flask every single time I see the prompt for it, but admittedly that'll be a hard one to get rid of. But if they're worth at least like 1,000 a pop, I would kind of argue that at least 1,000 a pop is worth something. So hop off. Default. Beautiful. Murdered.
Damn it. Why ain't it me?
Funny enough, I think the reason that works right there is because not only does he have no armor, he also has no strong attacks that armor through. Because of how his weapons work. So he essentially just has no hyper armor there. And that's really the main reason that strategy works in the way that it does. Otherwise, I don't actually believe that it can work. Otherwise, I think at that point you need Wild Strikes, which Wild Strikes admittedly would be slightly more overall just ineffective, because he's too fast.
Hello, it's rather my mistress. Could I ask that thug only if you've...
I'm just swinging my ball around.
Please. Oh, thank you, kind. Did I forget? I seek you are very to steady such. Please. Brave Tomos, you are no volcano.
Okay, there we go. There's that. And now we're off to Altus. Okay, cool. Inventory swap, we need that to happen. And I think other than that, that's essentially the only thing that we need to really edit for right this minute, at least. Yeah, we don't really need to adjust anything else for the time being. And even then, I mean, honestly, the balls don't come into play until a little bit later from now, so... So funny enough, I think I might need to check this, but I think there might actually be one of those spirit springs right around here. And if that is the case, I might actually just consider finding where that is. Because admittedly, that would completely negate my need to have to use the grave stepping stones on the way down. And while I'm not exactly, like, bad at them, I would still much rather choose to take what is very clearly and obviously a one-way ticket to the bottom without dying at all, as opposed to potentially dying to asinine BS because Torrent was feeling frisky. So I think I might actually figure out if there is a spirit spring near the ledge over there, and if there is, I'm going to start taking that, because that just makes infinitely more sense. Like, it's not even a question. Now, granted, admittedly, that doesn't come into play until essentially Morgott, so we don't have to really think about that for quite some time. But still, probably worth checking out. I know that there is a Spirit Spring or two in the general location over there, but still, I admittedly am not always the most knowledgeable on everything in this game, despite the fact that I played it so much. Alright, beautiful. I'm glad I did end up doing the testing that I have been doing. Because I think in this case it's been overall better for the run. Both in terms of expediting it and making it overall, I think, more interesting. Making it so I'm not having to... And don't get me wrong, there's always a long period of time, for sure, when these runs are starting, that, okay, apparently that tree is just stronger than most of the universe here. Fair enough. Wasn't expecting that out of the tiny little branch tree, but sure. But no, I guess kind of boiling it down, I'm glad in this case the fact that I understand a lot more about this run overall, and a lot more about what I do and don't need to make certain situations work just fine. As well as, honestly, figuring out ways to essentially make my run, generally speaking, a lot easier. Like, I know how to fight Margit, and I know how to fight Morgott, but also being able to hit them both with the fucking sit down for 2 seconds, that is beyond useful. And realistically, I had avoided patches for as long as I did, because I was like, oh, well, patches is surely gonna be worse for me to do than just experiencing these bosses, right? In all seriousness, no, honestly. Patches has been fine for the most part. I mean, he still can be a little bit of a rat, but I mean, him being a rat is easily avoidable, as long as I essentially just choose to say, I'm not going to deal with this right now. Alright. Cool, we didn't get bad Tree Guardian RNG. Alright, back to Weeping, to go and buy the stones that we need. Alright. I think at this point I might actually have enough money to buy all the stones that I need. Yeah, no, I do. I do have the money that I need. So we're good to go. Alright, and I forget, in this case, if I get up to plus 19 strength now, or if I get up to plus 19 strength after. I think it is now that I do the up to 19 strength. I do that now, I think. So we are gonna get our weapon up to +7. +7 weapon, 19 strength, then we go ahead and we go get what we need to get our weapon up to +9, then we go kill Bernal, murder him in grand fashion with our balls, of course, naturally. So, all the good stuff. I'm glad I generally have an okay time with those guys right there, because admittedly, like, they can be just scary enough in the sheer fact that they are, frankly, they are pretty fast. They are pretty fast and pretty aggressive at the same time. So I can generally be pretty appreciative of the fact that, other than, like, a handful of scares, they really have not been an issue. If they had a ranged deck, I'd be very worried about them, and I probably would route differently around that fact. But the fact that they don't just makes it fine. It's fine enough, at least. Okay. You know, funny enough, actually, one thing I think I realized last time is that after killing Godric, I did actually forget something relatively important about the Godric kill, and that is that after Godric gets murdered, I need to level up my faith 2 times. We probably still would have been able to. We probably still would have been able to cook it out and get that, but it was just such a small nominal thing that, like, oh shit, damn. Okay.
There's been a, how can I?
There we go.
Have a safe.
It's also been really good for me to not have to worry about getting the Zwei. The Zwei was really good,
Forgive me to determine,
but likewise, it was a lot of fucking effort to get that bad boy leveled up. It was a lot of effort to get that leveled up in the way that I did.
Very well. Let my hand.
Okay. Alright, round table time. We do need to buy some stuff from Merchant. I think actually, funny enough, we have more. You know what, that could have possibly been from the fact that we got the extra graveyard this time around. So that could be why we have the extra somber ones. Extra rune ones. I mean, I know our luck was mostly pretty good, but I don't think it was that stupidly good when it came to the skulls. No, I think we got like 5 total, roughly. So, I mean, it definitely pays off, but still.
No matter how you.
Those tiny skulls, admittedly, only can do so much work. Yes. Yes, no, that's exactly right. I don't know why I almost overdid it. That would have been kind of stupid. Okay, there we go. This goes to that. This becomes Golden Vow, and at this point we can go ahead and sell some crap off. We don't need the flail anymore. That is not required. Don't need a shield for any reason whatsoever. Pretty much don't need any of this shit. I'm selling this all off now because we aren't going to need any of this anyways. So it's technically just a little bit faster to do it now. Don't really need to worry about overdoing it with the money here, because eventually we will end up having enough money anyways. I mean, we're not gonna be rune arcing out, or yeah, sign of gracing out by any measure. so we don't have to think about that. There we go. Oh, I forgot to check and see if the seeds were sellable. Alright, +3 on that. 2 and 2. I will upgrade it one time because I do like 3 and 5. Or 3 and 2 a little bit better. There we go. Alright, remove these because we don't need either of them. We do need that. These are where they need to be. Beautiful. Let me check real quickly if we can sell off seeds. I don't feel like we'd be able to, admittedly, but it's still arguably worth the check. I'm not seeing them, so no. I'm guessing in this case, definitely not. Fair enough. It kind of seemed like that would have been a little bit of an unreasonable thing anyways, so makes enough sense. Something I think I want to maybe try and look into understanding how to do is I do want to actually take a chance and see if I can learn how to do the cheese kill on Dragon Sentinel. We haven't really been like, we don't really have any fucking issues with him at all, but being able to cheese kill him would just be slightly faster if we knew how to do it exactly, especially considering our weapon is essentially a stagger master. So if we were able to set up Dragon Senti on a decent ledge and essentially just bully him once and twice, that little stagger animation he does that I normally do with like parries, it still works. Like, you can still stagger him right off a ledge with a stagger too. It's technically slightly faster and usually a little bit more consistent of a setup to do it with a parry instead. Alright, balls cragged. Awesome. Beautiful. Pop. Smack him. I was gonna say, damn, I don't know, I felt like my luck was gonna be at least somewhat something today. So I am glad to see at least one Smithy 5 come out of that. We technically don't really need it, grand scheme of things, but like, it's just, I don't know, it's one of those little things of like, it's nice to get it, just in case. Race is already rested at, or at least it's active, so good. Just in case I accidentally overleveled the weapon at all. There we go. Alright, back to round table. Turn in the bell bearing, get as many stones as we need to get up to +9. And then we go murder Banal, and then we turn right back around, go level ourselves up as much as we can again, and we're cooking. There we go. We're a little short on money, I think, for level ups, because I think this is going to cost a little bit more than 463 for both. But it should be fine either way.
Well, I took you no matter it. Lay out your own.
Yeah, 520 for the first one, I'm sure. 800 probably doesn't cover the cost. Willing to assume. There we go. Perfect. Okay, cool. Alright. Let's go murder Bernal. Alright. And it's nighttime, of course it is. So I don't think it's actually, like, predetermined to be nighttime when you show back up here, but I think there's a really, really strong chance at this side of Grace for it to be nighttime whenever you show up here, or you warp here. At least from what my understanding feels like. Because very often it feels like it usually will be nighttime at that Grace. So, anyways. Punch.
What's wrong with you? I suppose I have
Beautiful. Murdered.
to be certain. The volcano manor.
Back to table. Alright. Normally, you know, I'm just going to use the money here, because fuck it. I would prefer not to have to overthink it too much. 7,500. It doesn't exactly matter if we overspend here anyways, so... there we go. That's plus 12. And just don't do plus 13 on accident. It technically wouldn't matter that deeply, it would just simply put us a stone behind, or 2 stones on 5s behind. But we would still be able to make up the difference, it wouldn't be that hard. It's just better to go into Morgott with a plus 13 Starfist as opposed to a plus 12, so. Alright, a little short on money. Yeah, it's not quite enough. Sell off a little bit of poop. Being so stringent with it, honestly. Alright, 680 is what we need. Okay, cool. Alright, there we go. I think I'm being so stringent with it purely because I want to make sure that I don't accidentally overdo it. I would prefer my margins stay exacting, so that way I don't accidentally overspend at any point here. That's really, I think, the idea behind why I'm doing them the way that I am. I know I really didn't need that second jump, but I always prefer to just do that as opposed to risking it for the biscuit. Alright. We're essentially good to go. Alright. Get knocked off the torrent. Wait for that name to tag. And run. Just fucking book it. There we go. Nergerus returns home. We get to ride Torrent again, and we are scot-free. I think in a run where I ever had to deal with Nergerus terribly, terribly early, so like specifically a Reduvia run, or like assume I did a dagger run, it would have to be that I make him a priority, honestly. I think I would have to make him so quickly a priority, because he would need to die as soon as possible. Because I would not want to be having to deal with an RNG check on an otherwise kind of, honestly, pretty fucking annoying NPC. He is, in fact, honestly, a pretty annoying NPC. So, never bothered to pick up the clothes here, but fuck it. We're doing it today. Alright, wait for Patches to... Patches? Baby? Okay, I was gonna say, he, like, had a moment there. Alright, big meaty punchers. Beautiful. And a single smack 'em bop to the forehead. Unfortunately, his debuff didn't even get a chance to hit me, so yay. Cool thing there, too, is even if we did end up hitting him a second time and, like, it did a fair amount of damage but not enough, he's not really, I think, programmed to start attacking again until after, like, the 3rd hit. Because I guess in this case, they made him hit-based and not health-based for that. So, you don't exactly have to overthink it as much on him, which is nice. Okay. There's that. Now we need to go ahead and book it up to Mountaintops, not Gelmir. And we're going to go ahead and get ourselves the update on the Bernal Bell Bearing. And once we're done with that, we'll head back to table, spend what money we can, and yeah, we'll be good.
I knew you. I hereby take my hand. Give. I will.
I am Tanrias, a warrior. Perhaps you will you joy rise with us. And now you will the drawing room, but be sure.
There we go. Back to the table. Go sell off what crap we need to, as well as, well, honestly, yeah, just selling off crap right now. I don't know how much we specifically need. No, I'm sorry. I do know exactly how much we specifically need. We need about 13k to make this next transaction happen. This, and honestly this, we never fucking need this. I keep almost making that mistake, honestly. That's a little unfortunate. Go. 2 of these puts me right in range. I think we need a little bit more, though, if I remember correctly. I think we actually might need just shy of 13,600. So sell off some plant life here. Cover the difference. I think that should be enough money. We need this for Assassin's Gambit, for Margit Shackle, for 3 Foul Foot, and it's definitely expensive, but... Okay, we're actually slightly over, which is honestly better. And only better just because it takes us a little less time, so. Alright, so that's... In that case, I guess it's 13,300 is what we need for all of that. Okay, alright. Something to keep in mind, at least. Alright, there's all of that. Kukri can be put up for right now because we're going to go off and deal with Margit. Put that on. Alright. Time to do Stormveil. Okay. I think at this point in time, I do go ahead and I do the full setup here, so. Or at least the portion of the setup. We start doing what we're supposed to be doing for the overall setup, at least. My placement on that was honestly kind of off. Like, I gambited at the wrong time there. It overall isn't gonna matter, because we're still gonna get to where we need to be, but... It doesn't really matter if we flask there or not. I just prefer to do it anyways, because, well, it just makes me feel better. But I do flask here for this, just because I don't want to risk accidentally not having enough to shackle, in case I need to shackle a second time for some weird reason. Ooh, okay, that was not correct. Yeah, that little whiff there was a little annoying, admittedly. I got away with it, but That was not how that was supposed to go down. Anyways, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Cower in fear of the night. The hands of the fell omen shall brook thee no quarter. It's tightly hooked. The guard you breached. Well, but of course.
Well, yeah, me too, man. Me too.
The gates! Oh,
Okay. Alright. This money just goes pretty much right into strength. 24 base strength. We're cooking. We're looking good. I don't really need to reapply this right here, but I'm doing it anyways, because fuck it. Alright, 2 seconds of walking. There we go. And just enough to get us in the gates here. Again, admittedly, it wouldn't be an issue if we literally just had a grace right across this bridge, because I could literally, at this point in time, an hour and 10 into the run, go and do that right this minute, right? And that would be, for the most part, pretty damn simple for me to do. It'd be pretty straightforward and pretty easy. Can't do that, though, because, again, no fucking grace at the bottom of the damn tower. Not sure who determined that one, but they sure did. So, it is what it is, but also what it is kind of just annoying. Alright, do that. Last time, I think I had the right correction here. Went ahead and did this a little early here. I did not enjoy that placement there. That was a lot of overcorrection there to get that fixed. I mean, we got away with it, but like that was a lot of overcorrection. Mainly because of that one singular ballista bolt that was just frankly too close to our feet. It would have sucked to lose it there, but yeah, luckily not a problem. Alright, I think I do get this grace here because it's slightly safe to just have it, as opposed to not having it, so. It would suck to lose 517 runes to an accidental aggro up here, but at the same time, 517 runes as opposed to an hour and hour 10 lost. Yeah, I'll take the small amount of rune loss. There we go. I guess technically with this in mind, we don't technically need the Secluded Cell Grace, just because we have everything we need right now. So I think I will just say fuck it and ignore that in place of just doing the boss fight. Because ideally, we don't have to grace out of this boss fight at all. Ideally. Alright, here we go. It's bossing time. Alright, kind of shitty RNG to start, but that's fine. Okay, alright, that's not bad. I say as he does the wrong fucking attack. Asshole. Alright. Wrong attack. Awesome, thank you. It'll still work out, it just gets riskier. Anyways, slap him in the face with your balls.
Of all that
Eat
is
a chicken foot.
golden,
Yum yum yum.
and one day we'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
Alright, there we go. Limgrave Tower Bridge. I mean, hey, good news, we're here technically ahead of schedule. Technically. Alright, 2 points faith, the rest dumped into strength. Beautiful. Alright. So again, all this really boils down to is just being smarter and faster. Between the tweez. Yep. Okay. We're gonna make it up to this first dead golem body, and we're gonna reactivate our shit. Reapply it. What the fuck? Hang on, I just wanna, like, test this out here. What is my timing on it? Because, like, this is essentially dead. Alright, look, here's what we're gonna do. Because while the run is dead, I'm not gonna fucking continue it at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and eat the loss as what it is, because I'd really rather not this be where I started from. I don't know why I'm suddenly having this issue here, but I need to figure it out now, as opposed to later. So, that needs to be a priority, and yeah. I wonder for all intents and purposes if it would be better for me to run against the other side of the bridge. I would kind of surmise no, because this guy over here would aggro to me by the time I reach him, and it would be bad. Look at that, he's already fucking aggroing anyways. Fucking jackass. Wonder if I run this way. Actually. Okay. Shit. Damn. Okay, that might be the trick. I'm gonna do it one more time just for consistency. Well, one more time isn't really consistency. It's just simply testing a coincidence, I would say, at that point. But likewise, that would completely negate my need to jump any arrows. And I hate to say that I have any sort of nerves right now, but the nerves, I think, in this case, are making it so I'm suddenly apparently choosing to forget my fucking timing. So. Alright. So, slice my hand at the doorway. Slice my hand right here. That guy's not going to end up coming over to me nearly fast enough to be a problem, so we're good on that. This guy's still in the middle of getting up, so we're good to go there. Is it consistent? Well, I mean, by the time he was launching his arrow, I was on my way over. The only question is, does he pivot fast enough when I'm running to this? No. Okay. Let's do it one more time. I hate to say it, though. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the run for tonight anyways. But, yeah. Yeah, I'm at least appreciating this clarity, I guess, in this moment, because this is definitely clarity. This is looking like the way we should be doing this going forward, and if it makes it beyond consistent, then that's awesome. I love that for us. So ignore that golem almost entirely. Get to this, slice my hand open, start booking it. Another thing too here is it seems like if I move just ever so slightly faster here, I might actually make it over there before he's even fully loaded on the arrow. Yeah. And then we book it right between his feet, essentially. He can't pivot nearly hard enough to actually aim at us, so we're good to go. Alright. I'm going to do it one more time, and then we're going to call it wraps. Alright, one more time. It's a little unfortunate I didn't have this one, at least in an idea, unfortunately, until after the actual incident for tonight, but technically speaking, I guess I could continue running this character again. We're only one hit in right now, but I think I just prefer to not do that for the sake of argument, because, well, I'd really prefer that if we have a hit happen, it happen in those final throws of the run, as opposed to happening less than an hour into the run. Well, not less than, but essentially. Yeah, that's working a lot better, actually. I am definitely going to be doing that going forward. I don't think he can pivot here hard enough as far as it stands. His arrow can't do any crazy gimmicks, so... Alrighty. Well, unfortunately, it is sad to say it, but Grundle in it is just not going to be the theme of what we're doing here tonight. So, but we just learned, doing some learning. Not too bad. I appreciate learning. So... honestly, that was, I would consider, maybe not like one of the most massive hurdles, grand scheme of things, but it is still a hurdle that I no longer have to skill check on. I just simply have to follow that exact line in the way that I'm doing it, and we're good to go, which is awesome. So, but nevertheless, folks, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. If you had a good time, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already considered it. It does mean a lot and a half to me. But otherwise, take good care of yourselves, folks. I will see you all later. And yeah, honestly, yeah, just take good care of yourselves. I'll see you later, folks.